Hello, hello, hello. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. I make videos for NFL. I'll have my NFL video up tomorrow night for you guys. All these videos get posted on this subreddit. It is called DF Sports. I make updates with all of the news that comes out. People Talk Strategy here, a really great place to be. If you ever need to ask me a question on players, pivots, stuff like that, you can ask me. And if you ever need to get a hold of me, you can do so on Reddit, or you can get a hold of me on Twitter at ToryLangley1992. So, guys, all I know is pain. All I know is pain. I don't even want to show you my main slate lineup. It's just so bad. And my night slate lineup. Like, I don't even want to show you guys this, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it anyway. I want to check my best ball though. How we doing this week? Oh, Luka got injured tonight, so he just didn't play. Oh, Nurkic got injured. Oh, no one runs worse. Let's take a look at my main slate lineup. So, just absolutely freaking disgusting. Yep, yep. Went to a Cam Thomas with no Seth Curry. I thought there was a better chance he could play, and I thought this game was going to blow out. So that's why I played Cam Thomas, because I was playing for a blowout. Detroit wins. Cam Thomas DMP. No one runs worse. I'll donate $1,000 to charity if somebody runs worse than me. Darius Garland, Karis LeVert, massive blowout. Julius Randle, he played 1 minute in the second quarter. He played 1 minute in the second quarter. I wanted to see if Popcorn Machine had it updated. 1 minute in the second quarter. This guy, man. This guy. This guy, man. Josh Christopher. Benched. Doesn't get blowout run. Nice. Chetty Osman. 1% owned. Floor game. Chris Paul was phenomenal. The core that I have for today was Garland, LeVert. Both did fine. Josh Christopher, bust. Chris Paul, smash. Stacked the late game on the night slate. Guess what happens? Luka Doncic gets injured, so Chalk Dimwitty breaks the slate. And Chalk, where is he? Tim Hardaway Jr. has a good game. And Chalk, where's Dorian Finney-Smith? 20% owned Dorian Finney-Smith breaks the slate. 50% owned Dwight Powell breaks the slate. All because Luka gets injured. No one. Stack the second game, the much better fantasy environment, blowout. Just massive blowout. Nobody plays the fourth quarter outside of Paul George. Once again, guys, no one runs worse. No one. I know I joke about it, and it's been a joke for a while. I believe it now. I literally believe it now. I do. So, if Discord is something you're interested in, I'll have a link to that down in the comments where you can hear me tilt even more. So if you're into that stuff, there's a lot of tilting. If you're not into that stuff, then might not be the place for you. Alright, let's go over this 5-gamer. Who's ready to take Giannis Antetokounmpo unders? Because the Sharks that take his unders, knowing that he's on a limit coming back from injuries, get hooked by half a point. But I think we'll probably play closer to normal minutes here if this game stays close. It's a really good matchup going up against the Pacers. I assume he'll be probably the most popular spend up on the slate tomorrow. I mean, it's for good reason, right? It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't have to give you analysis here. I don't think he's probably going to play like 38 minutes, probably like more in that 33 to 35-minute range, but this is just his pace-up spot. Phenomenal spot against the Pacers. So, yeah, if you want to go to Giannis, I think it's definitely a solid spot for him. Drew Holiday still thinks overpriced with Giannis back. Chris Middleton is on a limit, so impossible to go there. I don't like the spot for Brook Lopez, so I'll gladly fade. Pat Connaughton dropped 50 fantasy points last game out of nowhere. That's definitely an outlier. I'll let other people chase. I think there will definitely be much better value to go to. I don't think I can get to Grayson, so it's really just Giannis for me at the top on the Bucks. Let's go over to the Pacers. So we have Miles Turner questionable, Andrew Nembhard questionable, Aaron Nesmith questionable. If everyone's in, I don't like the spot for Miles Turner, but he does still have upside. I believe he smashed the last time that he played Milwaukee. Yeah, he went for 53 fantasy points, so he could still get it done, but I don't know if Giannis was in that game. I feel like Giannis was out. So it's a different spot, definitely. And you have the risk of foul trouble with him being in the paint and Giannis driving. So Miles Turner, just a dart for me. Don't love it. TJ McConnell, even if everyone's in, I still think is a solid play at 6.5K. Just, you're going to get huge minutes from him. And he's such a good point per minute guy. It's such a good guy that could facilitate. I mean, his mid-range jumper is just beautiful. It's beautiful. But God's going to stuff the stat sheet. Very good defender. Probably gets you 2 to 3 steals. Probably plays 35 plus minutes if the game stays close. Definitely a tough spot. But last time they played Milwaukee, he went for 60 fantasy points. I still think TJ McConnell looks like a pretty solid play here at 6.5K. If Nembhard and Naismith are out, he looks even better. Buddy Hield, would like him more if the other guys are out, but he's also playing huge minutes right now. If the game's going to stay close, Buddy Hield's going to have something to do with it. Good shooter, solid rebounder. I think he looks solid with shooting forward eligibility as well. Mathurin, I think, is a little bit too pricey for my liking, even though he's been playing extremely well. I think I'd much rather just go to Buddy Hield. Nembhard, if he plays, I don't have much interest. Duarte would only be in play for me if Naismith and Nembhard are out. Only if Nembhard's out. You saw 39 minutes for him. Now, I don't know if we get 39 minutes again. Duarte's not a high usage guy, but if Nembhard's out and he continues to start, I think he's definitely a solid value play at 4.2K. And then if Naismith's out, he might have to play all the minutes he can handle. So definitely interested in Duarte for value, and then if Nembhard and Naismith are out, it just boosts everyone else. You're going to see a tighter rotation and more minutes for the main guys. And then if Miles Turner is out, I would assume Jalen Smith or Isaiah Jackson start at the 5. Not sure which one would, but whoever does start at the 5 would be a pretty good value play. Both very good point per minute guys. So monitor that. Whoever starts the 5 would be a very good value play. Let's move on to Memphis. So pace-up spot here. Not the best matchup individually for Ja Morant. More of a contrarian play for me. Desmond Bane's in. Had a big game last game, finally. But with Desmond Bane in, his usage rate does go down a little bit. Probably plays close to 35 minutes. Probably gets you close to a double-double. I have no issues with Ja Morant. Definitely a tough spot, though. Bane, I think it's perfectly fine at this price tag. Has a ceiling if he's hitting his shots. Don't love it. Don't hate the price. Jaren, no thank you. With no Steven Adams, though, he definitely does get a little bit of a boost. It's just whether he can stay out of foul trouble or not. So I like Jaren for GPPs. Just know if you play him, you're probably going to be in pain. Still no Adams, so I would assume Clark starts at D5. Assuming he starts at D5, he is a very good play at 4.9K. Averages over a fantasy point per minute. I believe he's at 1.12 if I recall correctly. So if he plays close to 30 minutes, he's going to easily pay off this price tag. So if he starts with no Adams, Brendan Clark definitely looks really good. If they start Tillman, then Tillman's definitely playable, and then Brendan Clark would just be a tournament-only play. Brooks is playable. Don't love it. Never fun rostering that guy. He's just a black hole. Let's go over if Bane's out, though. Then Ja Morant, I would definitely definitely have interest in at 10K. Gets a huge usage bump with no Desmond Bane. I believe he averages like 0.2 more fantasy points per minute with no Desmond Bane. Don't fact check me on that, but definitely does get a big usage bump with no Bane. So would like Ja if Bane's out. Jackson doesn't really get a boost. But I think the biggest beneficiary from that outside of Ja Morant is going to be Dylan Brooks at 4.6K. Who, like I said, he's a black hole. All he does is shoot. He doesn't do anything else, but he'll probably shoot the ball 20 plus times with no Desmond Bane. I think he would be a solid play at 4.6K. And I would assume Zaire Williams moves into the starting lineup. They shift Dylan Brooks to the 2. If that is the case, he is playable for salary relief. Not going to be productive, but definitely playable. Sorry, guys. It's like hard for me to talk right now. I don't know what's going on. Let's go over Minnesota. So Rudy Gobert is questionable. I fully expect him to play though. And not the best spot either. This game is a pace-up spot for both teams, but a tough matchup on both sides. But good thing with him, he's gonna play close to 40 minutes. Good defender, can get those steals. There's valuable defensive stats. Clear number 1 on this team. I have no issues if you want to go to Ant. Has that solid shooting for eligibility. I think he's a solid play. I also like D'Lo. If you notice, his minutes have been absolutely way up of late. So if we're going to continue to get 40 minutes of D'Lo, he is too cheap at 6.7K. Number 2 on offense, gonna have the ball in his hands a ton. So I think D'Lo actually looks pretty solid as well. Rudy Gobert, I also like quite a bit as well. I just think 6.4K is a little bit too cheap for him. 36, 34 minutes last 2 games. Been pretty productive in that time as well. No Steven Adams on the other side as well. So whoever goes up against him, I think it's a pretty good matchup. So I think Rudy Gobert looks very good. Kyle Anderson with Gobert back, no thank you. Definitely gets a hit in usage. McDaniels, no. Nas, no. It would just be the main guys for me. And then if Rudy Gobert's out, you can consider Kyle Anderson, but I'll be playing Nas Reed. He would look like one of the best plays on the slate if Rudy Gobert is out, as long as he can stay out of foul trouble. This game, definitely the most unappealing game on the slate. Very, very tough spot here for Orlando, but if you want to take shots on a 7K Banchero, be my guest, but I will not be. Franz, no. Wendell Jr., no. Fultz at 5.6K, I think is in play for GPPs. Probably my favorite play on the Orlando Magic now that the price went down. It definitely has 40 to 50 fantasy point upside. Guy that can get it done in a lot of different ways. I don't hate Fultz. Cole Anthony at 4.5K, I don't hate either. That does seem a little bit too cheap as well. So my favorite plays on Orlando, definitely going to be the 2 guards here. Isaac not playing enough, but he's been extremely productive in the minutes that he's been getting. Definitely not playable for DFS purposes though. Let's move on to Miami. Not much here. Definitely a tough spot going up against Orlando. So Bam Adebayo, I don't like the spot at all. You have Jimmy Butler back as well. So nothing more than a contrarian play to me. I think Jimmy Butler is interesting at only 7.6K. I think he needs to be closer to that 8.2 to 8.5K range. As long as he doesn't get scratched, I think he's solid. I just think he's a little bit too cheap, even though the matchup, I think is meh. But like Butler, Harrow with Butler back, I think is priced about right. Same with Oladipo. How does this guy go from an all-star to doing this? I don't get it. So he's cheap. If you want to take a shot on him, hope he has a good game. Be my guest. But this guy's just been this guy, man. This guy just been horrible. That'll do it for Miami. Let's move on to Cleveland. And what are we doing with the pricing here? What are we doing? So, it's a phenomenal matchup. Mitchell questionable, Kevin Love questionable. Go over it both ways. If Mitchell's in, I like him quite a bit for GPPs. Insane amounts of upside. I think it's a groin injury. Should definitely be a little bit careful there, but he did play 38 minutes. I believe he was here for a groin injury too. I'm not entirely sure, and he re-aggravated it. I'm not entirely sure. Someone fact check me on that because I'm not too sure. But definitely a little bit concerned coming back from a groin injury if he does play. But if he's full go, I definitely like him. But definitely some concern with that groin. Garland would be playable, but I think he would be a little bit overpriced. I still like the bigs even if Mitchell's in. Jared Allen at 6K is just too cheap. What are we doing here with the pricing, DraftKings? What are we doing? He's just too cheap. Starters are playing close to 40 minutes a game as well. Phenomenal spot going up against Oklahoma City Thunder. I think Jared Allen looks great. I think Mobley, why did his price go down? Why? Why? I think if the game stays close, you get 35 plus minutes from him. Like the spot as well. I think he looks very good. Levert, if Mitchell's back, don't love. Coro, no. Chetty, no, especially if Love's back. And then if Mitchell's out, you guys know what to do. Garland's going to look amazing at 8.3K. Still love the bigs. Karis LeVert, I'm going to go right back to. He would look really good at 5.2K. And then if Kevin Love's out, you can definitely take a shot on Chetty Osman. And then Okoro's playable. Finally had a letdown game, but you couldn't pay me to play that guy, but he's definitely playable. Let's move on to OKC. So, really tough spot here. So, nothing stands out to me. Ownership will definitely be low. So, I think Shy, Giddy, definitely interesting GPP plays. SGA, definitely matchup proof. And if nobody is going to be on him, I'll definitely have some interest in him at very, very low ownership at a sub 10K price tag. So, I like SGA for GPPs. Josh Giddy, no thank you. Super safe, though. I don't think he has the upside really right now to win you a tournament. Jalen, no. We do have Dort out. I assume Aaron Wiggins will start in his place. Not a high usage guy. Very reliant on scoring, but another guy that's playable at the flat min, assuming he starts. So really, for me, just SGA, Giddy, and then Wiggins if he starts. Let's move over to Toronto. So good spot here, and I like some of these guys. I think it's a good spot for if they start Draymond at the 5, definitely a tougher spot matchup wise for Siakam, but I think he could just dominate here up on the glass. I really do. So I like Siakam quite a bit for GPPs. I've been targeting the Warriors all season long. They are not the same defensively as they were in the past. You also have Andrew Wiggins, I don't think is going to be playing in this game, which helps even more. And they're running such a tight rotation. So I think he'll be low owned tomorrow. I think he's a pretty good tournament play. And I really like Fred VanVleet as well. I like OG quite a bit too. Close to 40 minutes for these guys. I think it's a good spot individually for him. I don't know what to say. I think he makes for a pretty good play, in my opinion. Scotty, I definitely prefer Fred in this spot, especially if Wiggins is in. Trent, no thank you. And I think OG is a little bit underpriced as well. Definitely has not been producing of late, but we know OG definitely has 40 fantasy point upside. We don't have to go scroll too far back. So I don't hate it. I think he's a little bit too cheap at 5.9K. Precious been getting solid run off the bench as well. If you want to go to him, be my guest. I think he's perfectly fine for value as well at 4.2K. Boucher, if you want to take a shot on him for GPPs, I think that's completely fine. But just know, Nurse hates him. Sometimes his minutes will get slashed. Sometimes they won't. So it's a very, very tricky situation. They ran pretty much a 7-man rotation last game, which is what you're going to get from them. So I actually think Boucher is interesting if they're going to run a 7-man rotation again. All right, let's move on to the Warriors. So Steph, you guys know the drill. Always in play for GPPs, but when I play him, Boss picks up 2 fouls immediately. Poole, no thank you. Clay, I think is at an interesting price tag at 6.5K. I still think it's appropriately priced, but he has 50 fantasy point upside as well. Very, very good shooter. Probably shoots the ball 20 plus times. Sorry. Kind of a black hole, kind of like Dylan Brooks. So some interest in Clay. That shooting forward eligibility definitely helps. And then if Andrew Wiggins is out and they start Draymond at the 5 again, I like Draymond a lot. His boost at the 5 is absolutely insane. Has more chance of a double-double. I don't like the matchup, but the boost he gets at the 5 is just insane. So if Wiggins is out, they start Draymond at the 5. I like him a lot. If Wiggins is in, they start Draymond at his normal position. I think he's okay, but I don't love it. Wiggins probably wouldn't get to. And then if Wiggins is out, they started Jonathan Kuminga last game. If he starts again, I think he's definitely playable. Good point per minute guy. Like, if I knew Kuminga was going to play 25 plus minutes tomorrow at 4K, I would like him quite a bit for value. So I think that's going to do it, guys. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. I feel like I'm missing something. But I think that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys had a good night tonight. Avoided all the busts and didn't play Luka on the night slate like I did. So, yeah. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.